You sign the lease on a small retail space downtown. The rent is $3,500 a month. You buy shelves, you buy a cash register, you buy inventory. You spend 3 months painting the walls, arranging products, designing the window display. Opening day arrives. You stand behind the counter, excited, nervous. You wait, and you wait, and you wait. By 2 p.m., only 7 people have walked in. 3 of them were just looking for the bathroom. At the end of the month, you've made $4,200 in sales, but your rent, utilities, and inventory cost you $8,000. You're bleeding money. You lie awake at night thinking, did I make a terrible mistake? Should I have just started online? Meanwhile, across town, your friend Sarah launches her online store. No rent, no employees. Just a laptop, a Shopify subscription, and a dream. She sources products from AliExpress, sets up Facebook ads, and within 2 weeks, she's making sales. People from California, Texas, even Canada are buying her products. She's making money while she sleeps. She shows you her phone. Look, I just made $340 while we were having coffee. You feel sick. You spent $25,000 opening a physical store, and she started her entire business for $800. But 6 months later, something strange happens. Sarah is stressed. She's spending $200 a day on Facebook ads just to break even. Her profit margins have collapsed because everyone is selling the same products. She's dealing with chargebacks, returns, and angry customers who say the product doesn't match the photos. Meanwhile, your physical store has slowly built a loyal customer base. People come in, they touch the products, they trust you, they come back. You're not rich, but you're stable. Sarah is making sales, but she's trapped on a hamster wheel of ads and algorithms.
So what's the truth? In 2026, should you start an online store or a physical store? This question has destroyed more entrepreneurs than market crashes ever could, because most people are asking the wrong question. My name is Simon, and on this channel, we decode the economic forces that shape modern business. Today, I'm going to show you why the answer isn't what you think, and why the smartest entrepreneurs are playing a completely different game. If you want to make the right decision and actually build a business that lasts, smash that like button, and let's dive into the invisible war happening in retail. Here's the economic reality that nobody talks about. In the United States, over 80% of retail sales still happen in physical stores. Let me say that again, 80%. Brick-and-mortar retail sales are expected to exceed $8.9 trillion in 2026. The death of physical retail was dramatically exaggerated. People still want to touch products. They want to try on clothes. They want to walk out of a store with their purchase immediately. But here's the twist. Online-first small businesses report about 21% higher revenue growth compared to physical-only stores. So physical stores dominate total sales, but online businesses grow faster. This creates a paradox, and understanding this paradox is the difference between building wealth and going bankrupt. Let's start with the seductive promise of the online store. Imagine you're a 28-year-old with $5,000 in savings. You've been working a corporate job for 6 years, and you're tired. You want freedom. You want to be your own boss. You discover dropshipping. The pitch is intoxicating. You don't need inventory. You don't need a warehouse. You don't even need to touch the products. You just build a website, run some ads, and when someone orders, the supplier ships it directly to them. Your startup cost? Maybe $1,500. A Shopify subscription, a domain name, some basic ad spend. You can start tonight. So you do. You pick a niche. Let's say portable blenders. You find a supplier, you build a clean website, you write compelling copy, you source some lifestyle photos, you set up Facebook ads targeting fitness enthusiasts. You set your budget to $30 a day. You launch. Within 48 hours, you get your first sale. Somebody in Arizona just bought a blender for $49. It cost you $18 from the supplier and $5 in shipping. After the ad cost, you profited maybe $12. But it's proof. The system works. You scale up. You increase your ad budget to $100 a day. Sales are coming in. You're making $800, $1,000, sometimes $1,500 a day. You quit your job. You feel like a genius. But then, the cracks start to show. Facebook increases their ad costs. The same ad that cost you 50 cents per click now costs $1.20. Your margins shrink. Then, a customer leaves a 1-star review saying the blender broke after 2 uses. You didn't manufacture it. You just sold it. But now your reputation is damaged. Then, you discover 12 other people are selling the exact same blender with the exact same photos. You're in a race to the bottom. The only way to win is to spend more on ads or cut your price. Either way, your profit disappears. You realize something terrifying.
You don't own a business. You rent traffic from Facebook and Google. The moment you stop paying, the sales stop. You've built a job, not an asset. This is the hidden trap of online retail. Low barriers to entry sound great until you realize that low barriers also mean infinite competition. When anyone can start the same business you have in 24 hours, you have no moat, no competitive advantage. You're just another face in an endless scroll of ads. Now, let's flip the script. Let's talk about the physical store. You walk into a small boutique clothing store in a mid-sized city. The owner, Maria, is folding sweaters. She opened this place 2 years ago. It's a 900 square foot space in a decent part of town. Rent is $2,800 a month. She stocks curated women's clothing, local jewelry, and handmade candles. She didn't start with a huge budget. She started with $40,000. Half of that went to the first and last month's rent, the security deposit, and basic renovations. The other half went to initial inventory. It was terrifying. She was betting everything. But she had a vision. She wanted to create an experience.
When customers walk into Maria's store, they're not just buying a sweater. They're buying her taste, her curation, her story. She knows her regulars by name. She remembers that Jessica loves earthy tones. She texts Sarah when a new shipment of vintage denim arrives. She hosts small events, wine and shopping nights, local artist pop-ups. Her customers don't just shop there. They belong there. She's not competing with Amazon. She's offering something Amazon can't: a relationship, a community, trust. And here's the thing, her customers spend more. The average online shopper might spend $45 per transaction. Maria's average sale is $120. Why? Because she's there to upsell, to suggest, to build an outfit. She creates urgency. She says, I only have 2 of these left and they're going fast. The customer buys it now because they don't want to miss out. That's the power of physical retail. Impulse buying, immediate gratification, human connection. But Maria is not naive. She knows the risks. Rent is a fixed cost. Whether she sells $10,000 or $2,000 that month, the rent is still due. She has to pay for utilities, insurance, and eventually employees. If foot traffic drops because of bad weather, a road closure, or a recession, she suffers. Her inventory is tied up in physical products sitting on shelves. If a trend changes, she's stuck with unsold stock. She can't just pivot with a click like an online store can. The stakes are higher. The pressure is constant. So, which model wins? Here's where most people get it wrong. They think it's a binary choice, online or physical. But the smartest businesses in 2026 are doing something completely different. They're playing both sides. This is called omnichannel retail, and it's quietly minting millionaires. Let me explain how this works. A brand starts online, low risk, low cost. They test products, they build an audience, they generate revenue, they figure out what sells, what messaging works, what customers actually want. They use data. They see that 60% of their customers are in 3 cities, Los Angeles, Austin, and Brooklyn. They notice that their Instagram engagement spikes when they post behind-the-scenes content. They realize their customers value sustainability and storytelling. Once they have product market fit and cash flow, they don't just keep scaling ads forever. They open a physical location in one of those high-density cities. Not a huge store, a small flagship, maybe 1,200 square feet. It's not just a store, it's a brand embassy. The physical store does 3 things the online store can't. First, it builds trust. Customers can see the product quality in person. Second, it creates content. Every event, every interaction, every photo op feeds back into the online brand. Third, it becomes a local anchor. It generates word of mouth. People walk by, get curious, walk in, and fall in love. Then they go home and order online. The online store funds the physical store. The physical store elevates the online brand. They feed each other. This is the future. Not online versus physical. Online and physical. Look at Warby Parker. Started online selling glasses. Disrupted an industry. But now they have over 200 physical stores. Look at Allbirds. Started as a direct-to-consumer shoe brand online. Now they have dozens of retail locations. Look at Glossier. Born on Instagram. Built a cult following online. Opened experiential stores in major cities. These brands didn't abandon digital. They layered in physical because they understand something most entrepreneurs miss. Online is great for reach. Physical is great for depth. You need both. So if you're sitting there right now trying to decide, here's my advice.
If you have less than $10,000, start online. Test, learn, fail fast. Build an audience, but don't stop there. If you have more than $30,000 and you're in a strong local market, consider physical, but only if you're offering something experiential, something people can't get on Amazon. And if you're already running one model, start planning how to add the other. Because the businesses that survive the next decade won't be purely online or purely offline. They'll be hybrid. They'll be everywhere their customer is. Here's the deeper truth. The question isn't really about stores. It's about leverage. Online gives you leverage of scale. You can reach millions. Physical gives you leverage of intimacy. You can create fanatics. The entrepreneurs who win are the ones who understand which leverage to deploy at which stage. You don't start with a flagship store on Fifth Avenue. You start online, you prove demand, you build capital, and then you expand into physical when it amplifies your brand, not when it drains it.
Diderot bought a scarlet robe and lost his freedom. Don't buy the wrong business model and lose yours. Build smart, build in stages. And remember, the best business isn't the one that looks coolest on Instagram. It's the one that's still standing in 5 years. If you want to learn how to build a business that actually generates wealth and freedom, check out this video right here, where I break down the real economics of side hustles. And if this video saved you from making a $30,000 mistake, hit that like button, subscribe for more business reality. I'll see you in the next one. Don't buy the robe.